important too.
Let's take a deeper dive into one of the more controversial calls in last night's Warriors win over the Cavs. Under 40 seconds to play, Warriors were down by 2 points. Kevin Durant drives to the lane, crashes into LeBron. So refs call it a charge. Would have given the Cavs the ball. Then they go to review it, and they reverse the call. KD hits 2 free throws, and the Warriors go on to win. Let's hear from LeBron on the controversial sequence.
I read that play just as well as I've read any play in my career, maybe in my life. I seen the play happening. I knew I was outside the charge line, and I knew I took the hit. I don't know what else to say.
They called a charge, right? And LeBron was clearly 4 feet outside the restricted area. So it doesn't make sense to go review something that the review is if he's on the line or if he's close to the charge circle. That's the review. He wasn't close. So what are we reviewing? Either call a blocking foul or call an offensive foul. And, you know, for our team to come out and, you know, play their hearts out and compete the way we did, man, I mean, it's bad. And it's never been done before where you know he's outside of restricted and then you go there and overturn the call and say it's a block. It's never been done, ever, in the history of the game. And then tonight in the finals, on the biggest stage, when our team play well, play their ass off, man, it ain't right. It ain't right.
CC, would you say the refs cost the Cavs the game? Was that a turning point, that call right there?
I don't like to get into, in sporting events, saying the ref cost them the game because there's so many plays during the course of the game. If JR gets the rebound, calls timeout, Ty Lue calls a play, they get a chance to make a buzzer beater, a walk-off. There's a number of plays that happened during the game, been like, yeah. But it's hard to overcome the refs and JR. So both of them had an impact on the game because if they don't get that call, then does JR need to call timeout? He brings it back out. They foul him. He's shooting extra free throws. Either they're up 2, 3, or 4 potentially. So, no, they didn't cost him the game, but it's hard to overcome a call like that. I like LeBron and what he said in the interview, though. He read the play. The reason why he read the play, he knew Tristan was on his right with KD. He knows KD cannot shoot with his left hand. That's the reason why he knew he was going to go to the right. Now, from the referee standpoint, the only thing I can say, because I knew it was above the restriction area, LeBron, right before contact, he threw his left shoulder, so his body wasn't square to KD. So when they went to look at it, that's the only thing that I could think, because in taking a charge, you can be moving as a defensive player. But because his chest wasn't square to him, because KD hit him in the chest. And coaches teach basketball, if you're going to take a charge, take it in your chest, because that's what the referees are looking for.
But here's the problem. And you know one of my hobby horses is replay in sports in general. This isn't a Johnny-come-lately opinion by me. But I will get off that and just talk about this specific play. You are not allowed to review, was he moving? Did he pivot? You are only allowed to go to the review to see, was he in the restricted area? Now, they have changed the rule that once you review that, you can review all parts of the play. And that's what ended up happening. But look at that. He's 3 feet outside the restricted area. There is not a ref on the floor that legitimately thought he might be in the restricted area.
And the ref in the corner, who had the best view of it, he called it immediately a charge.
And if they would have called this a block in real time, so be it. But what you can't do as an official... So
you would feel more comfortable they called the block?
Absolutely.
Just charge or block?
Charge or block.
Just the norm.
What I'm not comfortable with is the referees, and I don't use this term lightly, breaking the rules. The rules are very simple. You can only go to replay to see if he was in the restricted area. They went to replay knowing he was not in the restricted area so they could see, was it a block or a charge? If the NBA wants to open up replay to these types of things, fine, but that's not the rules.
You can see Tony Brothers, he was calling a block. He was behind the play. Tony is to our right in the screen. All right. He was getting ready to call a block, but Ken Mauer's down in the corner. He has the better view. He calls it. He calls a charge.
And that's why I think they went to replay.
Because the other ref had called the block.
Exactly,
Yes.
because they were like, oh, you saw a block, I saw a charge, let's review it. That's not allowed.
No, you couldn't.
Period, point blank, that is not allowed. And so and you hear LeBron says all the time, like, you live with the result. You live with the result. What's so painful for Cavs fans, and most notably for LeBron there, is he said, I read the play as well as I've read any play in my career. He leaves Draymond. You see Draymond there, leaves him wide open. He knows KD's never passing there. He knows KD can't go up with his left. He gets exactly where he needs to get to make the play. Right after getting an and one to go up one, to save the game defensively. He gets rewarded for it. And then the referees go outside the rules to change the call. Forget the fact that I actually do think the right call was a charge. That it is here's the other thing that bothered me, see? You have Steve Javie on the broadcast. If Steve Javie's there because he's an expert in officiating, he said, yeah, you leave this a charge. If he can think it's still a charge, how can you have enough evidence to overturn what was called on the court?
And how hard is it, CC, as an athlete, to have to endure that, knowing you were in the right for the most part, and then have to get back up to try to finish out this game?
I mean, you know the refs are part of the game. Like, you know that. Like, ever since you were a kid.
But this is not something that happens every game. This was something that
it's not as if the refs just started getting on the court, though. You realize as a competitor, the coaches prepare you for that. You're going to get some bad calls during the game. You can overcome that, but you can't overcome that and JR.
And how did LeBron respond to it? The next time down the court, he got a layup to put him up 2. And the next time down the court, he found George Hill for what could have been the game-winning layup for what should have been the game-winning free throws. LeBron responded to that fine. LeBron and the Cavs did not respond to that plus the JR thing in overtime. And it's that the Warriors are obviously the more talented team. But when the more you watch this and when you see how clear LeBron is outside of that restricted area, he was closer to the dotted circle under the free throw line than he was the restricted area. You can't justify going to replay there. Ty Lue's right that we've never seen a guy that far out the restricted area, then go to replay and then overturn the call. And that would have been Cavs ball up to 36 seconds left. That's the situation they would have been in. Like, it doesn't get bigger than